stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Welcome everyone to the Lower Gwinnett Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. The Board of Supervisors did meet in executive session on March 31st and prior to tonight's meeting to discuss matters of personnel, real estate, and potential litigation. I wanted to bring to everybody's attention that Lower Gwinnett Township has issued a request for proposal for a police department study as part of succession planning. Lower Gwinnett Township is fortunate to have an accredited and highly regarded police department led by Chief Paul Kenny. The chief's entrance into the deferred retirement option plan means that we will have the benefit of his expertise for only a few more years. So to plan for this upcoming transition, the Board of Supervisors invites firms to submit proposals for analysis of the police department's management and organizational structure in the context of law enforcement best practices. By doing the study now, we have the advantage of incorporating Chief Kenny's extensive knowledge and experience as we move into the future. The board is determined to maintain the level of safety and service that residents have come to expect from the Lower Gwinnett Police Department. Qualified firms are invited to submit their proposals by May 7th, 2025. We're not going to talk about the sad news of Chief Kenny entering into the deferred retirement option yet. So we're going to open it up to public comments. These are for citizen comments, concerns, questions for items that are not on the agenda. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to building and zoning. I think we're going to have a presentation for redevelopment of 1100 North Bethlehem Pike around the Gulf Station.
Robert Blue is here to present that.
Thank you. Mr. Blue?
Madam Chairman, how are you? Thank you very much for giving us time tonight in your meeting. We had submitted some information and I put a hard copy in front of everyone's desk in case the smart board didn't work. But as long as I'm not running the smart board, it'll probably work. So this is the existing Hannum gas station right down the street. Mr. Hannum, after probably 40 years of pumping gas and servicing vehicles, is calling it quits. And my clients, AJ and his brother back here, it's a family-run business. His father's in the business. They have 6 other facilities through Bucks County and Montgomery County. They think that this is a good spot for them. They have one over in Bluebell right now that they'll work the Sunoco station on Route 73 by the library. So they're going to be retrofitting that and changing it. What's important to note is that this piece of property has been, I don't want to say negatively affected, but that's the only terms I can use with regards to the buildable area on the site because of the rights of way for Norristown Road and also along Bethlehem Pike. We also have the right of way behind. Will my pointer work on that screen or not? Okay. So this is the existing facility right here. It's about 1,200 square feet. We were affected by the right of way of Old Bethlehem Pike, which I understand a new bridge is going to be going in, and then the improvements along North Bethlehem Pike and Norristown Road. If we don't do the work up there and Hannum just closes up the gas station, if you go to the next screen, you can see how far the residents of of Lower Gwinnett are going to have to go. Well, that's just a rendering. Can you go to the next one, Jamie, please? Okay, so we did a quick study. This is more of a community facility than it is, a regional facility. Here's the existing site at 1100 North Bethlehem Pike. If this closes, it's going to be 1.6 miles to Welsh Road to get gas, or it's going to be 2.6 miles if you're going along Norristown Road. If you go over to the gas station in Bluebell, it's about 2 miles, and down in Ambler, it's about 2 miles. So, yeah, it's an inconvenience for the residents of Lower Gwinnett Township if this closes and isn't available for gas.
Have you ever bought gas at Mr. Hannum's station?
I'm sorry?
Have you bought gas at Mr. Hannum's station?
I only bought 1 gallon to get me down to someplace else.
I think most people don't buy gas there. What
Well,
most people use Mr. Hannum for is the service,
Okay,
which my understanding is we'd be losing under this proposal, right?
right, yeah,
Okay.
we're not a service station. We're a convenience facility and gas. The difference is our pricing, when I say our, I'm talking about the team, our pricing will be significantly less than the Hannum pricing.
Hard to be high, it would be hard for it to be higher.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it is going to be not just a convenience store, it will be gas.
Yes. Yes. And if you,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pepper you with
sure,
questions.
go ahead.
What are the setbacks now from you want to be right up against the edge of the property, right?
Yes, yes.
What are the current setbacks, if you know? I just don't. Do you know, Jamie?
You mean, where's the building in relationship to the?
What are the required setbacks?
Oh, okay, sure. The required setback, the front yard is 30 feet. We're okay with that. The side yards are 30 feet with 33 feet existing, and we've got about a foot setback to build the building. And again, we need to maximize, the use of the property itself. So we figured if we push the building back, we're going to put a fence along. Could you get the rendering up, Jamie, please? Thank you. That would be the second. Right. So this, if you look at the dashed line, that's the buildable area that we have to deal with. So we have parking spaces. This is all right of way in this area here along Bethlehem Pike. And again, we're affected by the setbacks. Like I say, the building itself, one thing, we're tearing the building down. We're starting with a clean palette. And I've told my clients from the very beginning that we just can't put any old building up there. It's got to be in the flavor of Lower Gwinnett Township with the stone and stucco. We don't have a rendering of it now, but what I can show you is that they have a facility up in Quakertown. And to the left was the facility that was there before, and to the right is how they retrofitted it with a standing seam roof, some stone and stucco. We're not mimicking this particular facility, but what I want to show you is that they just don't paint the roof and call it a day. They do some significant changes to let things blend into the surrounding area. And, I was here for a long time. I know how sensitive Lower Gwinnett Township is to the way Lower Gwinnett Township feels. So, we're going to have high ceilings inside the facility. I don't know whether we're going to do a standing seam roof, but, we've spent a lot of money so far just getting to this point. So, yeah, the rendering, yes. They're bollards around the gas, the pumps. Yes. Yes. What was that last question, please? Well, one of the things that we have to do is we have to go to PennDOT for a new permit. And PennDOT won't issue a permit to something that's going to be unsafe in their particular eyes. So if we get a positive response tonight that we're headed in the right direction, we'll engage a traffic engineer to meet with PennDOT and do a scoping meeting and see what their thought process is. This won't be the only trip that you'll see us.
Mr. Blue, where is the proposal for trash facilities and the like?
If you, the dumpster would probably be located here. We have a fence along this area. It's close to the store itself. So probably in this area here.
That looks a little different than ours.
There's homes, right?
I mean, we can put a masonry wall and gates around it if that's something that,
So the drawing that you have up on the screen actually looks a slight bit different than ours.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You're saying that you would consider putting, because they are homes, but they're on the other
They're
side.
right on the other side of all that. They're on the other side of this cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about your neighborhood or the?
No,
one
no, no,
like-
I'm talking about.
like we're down
what's his
here.
son? Ken lives
Yeah,
there.
down there.
There's, Ken lives here, but there's homes right here.
right. Our thought was that although this is a right of way in here that's associated with the Old Bethlehem Pike, we were thinking that, I believe that you control Old Bethlehem Pike, and we would put landscaping and berming along this area here because of the sensitivity of having neighbors in the back.
Any consideration to the restriction of going in and out?
That's going to be a PennDOT choice.
Okay. You're anticipating that.
Yeah, we have thought about closing this one and enlarging this one up in here, but I'm not a traffic engineer, so we'll leave that to people.
That would probably be a start. I think that would be a tough. And I live pretty close to,
Yeah, well,
I mean, I walk to Bob's when I want to pick up my car.
right.
So
Do you
that,
bring a checkbook?
he lets me come drop it off the next day, but yes. That first entrance, when you make the right onto Norristown Road.
Right.
It's, I mean, to Ms. McNeely's point, it's a bit of it's a gamble.
We're not opposed to, we'll keep Jamie in touch with everything. We're using Jamie as the point person. And, once we get a meeting with PennDOT, we'll let her know. And if the township engineer wants to be included in that, we'll be more than happy to do that. We're transparent on this.
Is the convenience store and gas, will that be 24 hours?
I don't think so, AJ.
Okay. if it's not 24 hours, is it like a 10 PM? Yeah, okay.
Just to add, the zoning requires a special exception for a gas station with a convenience store. So they will go before the zoning hearing board.
Oh, because of the convenience store aspect of it?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we talk about the convenience store for a bit?
I'm sorry,
Can we talk about the convenience store? Like what type of things are we thinking?
that's out of my
Like
engineering.
Wawa
degree, but-
Hokies?
Like sandwiches?
I know, I'm kidding.
Okay. Delicious foods?
Always
Good
delicious.
coffee.
You know, Wawa down the street was at some point proposing gas stations and that it didn't work out because it's just not it's a tight fit. And I can't imagine this situation is any easier than that, to shoehorn 6 pumps into this space. So where are people going to park that are just going to the convenience store?
A lot of times they will either just stay at the pump and run in and get, whatever they need and run out. We're going to try to discourage that.
Okay. This is just very complicated.
That's why we're here tonight.
Okay.
Are you proposing 5 parking spots and 1 handicap spot?
Yes,
Oh, so what's over there on the right-hand side?
yeah, there's 3 spaces on the
Okay.
right-hand side and 2 plus the handicap.
On the other
left-hand
side, I gotcha. Okay.
And I know you'd mentioned this earlier.
Sure.
Where are the other locations closer than Quaker? Are there locations closer than Quakertown
Well,
that they run?
In
Bluebell?
Bluebell, next to the library, we're going to be starting construction on that very shortly.
There's a car wash, right?
There's a car
Yeah,
wash
okay, all right. I
and
know
the
that
gas
one.
station.
Okay,
We're converting what used to be the service bays
Yep.
into the convenience store.
okay.
Is that newly acquired or is that been a property they've maintained for a while?
I'm sorry.
Is that a newly acquired property or is that a property that they have maintained for a while?
You've had a couple of years. All new streetscape, landscaping, paving, storefronts. It's going to look like a whole different. Now that flag is Sunoco. We haven't chosen what national one that we're going to use.
I get a better luck on my lottery tickets in that particular location, that would be helpful. Just saying.
You should have called us before you.
I
went.
feel like I'm close to being a winner.
It doesn't look like there's enough room there to get one of those gigantic trucks that deliver the petroleum, the gasoline.
Well, we're going to be changing the location. The existing tanks are located on the left-hand side over in this area here. We're probably going to switch them around. We'll leave that up into the flag that we go with. They dictate where they want to pick up their gas and we can dictate what times they can pick it up, but
So just to be clear, you anticipate that you would have a masonry walls to cover the trash,
yeah.
landscaping and put a berm?
Yes. I mean, it's going to be in your right of way as long as you're okay with that. We're going to have a fence around that back property, a privacy fence.
Are you anticipating signage?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, other than gas pricing, I think that's probably it. We're going to win a trip to the zoning hearing board. We know that. And if we decide, in the interim that we want additional signage, we'll send it to Jamie and tell her, add this to the list.
Okay.
So Bluebell and Quakertown are the only other 2 properties? Is there any other?
Yeah. Oh, where are the other?
Abington? Where is it in Abington?
It's close to Abington High School. Susquehanna, Eastern Road.
You replaced the Wawa near the Giant?
Across from the Giant?
Yeah, is that,
Well, it's closed now.
yeah,
Yes.
is that your,
No, that is not mine.
Oh.
You go up the street and it's on Kennerton Avenue.
okay,
It's right where new Wawa got built.
okay.
We will get Jamie pictures to be.
I think
able
that's
to
what we would like to see what
Yeah,
the,
pictures and addresses would be great.
Right.
Yeah,
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
we'll get that too.
Thank you.
okay. Any additional questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Any closing remarks, Mr. Boo?
I think we've tried to answer all your questions. Your questions were well pointed and we appreciate it. And we appreciate the time to make our presentation.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. Does that mean I can count on your vote?
I'll wait for the traffic evaluation. But, you know,
Gonna
it
be a
is an
nice
interesting
latte and a
proposal.
breakfast sandwich, and you might have my vote.
We like delicious foods
I
here.
like an egg sandwich
Mhm.
on a good bagel, you know. Yeah. I know. North
Cinnamon
Wales-
bun or two.
North Wales is
Everyone have a
pretty
good
good.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Probably not. Probably not.
Next up, we have the consideration of the acceptance of the resignation of Ron Amchin as an elected auditor. February 25th, Mr. Amchin resigned as one of the Lower Gwinnett Township's elected auditors. He was elected in November 2023, and his term continues through 29. He is one of the 3 members of the Board of Auditors. Included in our board packet outlines our next steps. This is really just us accepting his resignation. I'd like to make a motion to accept. Well, are there any questions or concerns from the board? Any questions or concerns from the public?
No.
Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to accept the resignation of elected auditor Ron Amchin. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up on our agenda was a discussion related to a letter that I would like to make a motion to table. I think that we're not ready to have this conversation yet, so is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of ordinance 551. Which is adding intersections to the location of stop signs in chapter 458 of the Lower Gwinnett Township Code. At our last meeting, we actually advertised. And so included in our board packet, I think, is a memo from Sergeant Henry dated April 4th that outlines the need for us to identify and adopt those intersections. We did advertise them at our last board meeting. Are there any questions related to the memo from the board? Any questions or concerns from the public? This is ordinance number 551. We're adding intersections to the location of stop signs in chapter 458 of the Lower Gwinnett Township Code. I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of a new administrator for non-uniform defined contribution for a 401(a) retirement plan. Included in our board packet is a memo from our township manager as well as our finance director, kind of walking us through who currently is our administrator and a recommendation for us to appoint K-Trade through Barn Wealth as the plan administrator of our 401(a) non-conformed retirement plan, and Fidelity as the plan administrator of the drop plan for the police officers. This would just authorize our township manager to execute these plan agreements and burn investment agreement. Am I pronouncing that right? Bernie, close. Are there any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? No. Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Kay Trade through Bernie Wealth as the plan administrator of the 401A non-uniformed retirement plan. Fidelity is the plan administrator of the drop plan for police officers, and authorizing our township manager to execute the plan agreements and Bernie investment program. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of a deed of dedication related to revising the right-of-way for Old Bethlehem Pike, and that is needed for the culvert replacement program. I don't know if, is there any backstory that you want to share with us? I know it, but I don't know if I can articulate it as accurately.
So with the Old Bethlehem Pike Bridge Replacement Project,
Mhm.
Pico has a gas main that is directly next to the bridge. When we relocate the bridge, or when we replace the bridge, the gas line needs to be relocated further away from the bridge. And we're going to extend the right of way of Old Bethlehem Pike so that Pico's gas line is still within the right of way.
Okay. So this is just extending the right-of-way to ensure that the gas line remains in the right-of-way.
That's right.
Township.
Yeah, the township has open space directly adjacent to the right of way, so you're shifting the right of way line, and you're taking land from yourself to widen the right of way.
Nice. Okay. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the deed of dedication to revise the right-of-way for Old Bethlehem Pike for the culvert replacement project. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of a deed of dedication for a right-of-way for a trail easement at 1327 Gypsy Hill Road, included in our board packet as a memo from our assistant township manager articulating that as a part of this subdivision located on Gypsy Hill Road, a paved pedestrian trail was to be installed and an easement granted to the township for access for a trail segment. It is located outside of the right-of-way. So a small portion of the trail leaves the right-of-way and crosses the front corner lot of Lot 2 in order to connect with the adjacent trail. The project and the trail are complete, and property owners have signed a deed of dedication for the required trail easement. This deed of dedication is accepting the easement as in the attached memo, along with the site plan. Are there any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to accept the approval of the deed, or to approve the deed of dedication of right-of-way for a trail easement at 1327 Gypsy Hill Road. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of the approval of a RACP cooperative agreement with Thomas Jefferson University and the Montgomery County Redevelopment Authority. Included in our board packet is a memo from our township manager articulating that township Thomas Jefferson received a $2 million grant through RACP for Jefferson Institute for the Bioprocessing Expansion Project at SHIP. The Montgomery County Redevelopment Authority is administering the grant funds. They are required that the grant funds have a host municipality to authorize the project and to agree to reimburse certain contingent payments that would be obligations of the authority. If funds are used by Jefferson for expenses that are later determined by the state to be ineligible for reimbursement, and if the RDA is required to reimburse the state for those amount, meaning Jefferson would or could not, then the township agrees to reimburse the state. Any questions from the board?
Yeah. Neil, I know we've gone over this before, but I can't remember. What are we on the hook for, if anything, if this Thomas Jefferson University business goes out of business?
Practically speaking, nothing. However, if monies are illegally forwarded to Jefferson, then technically under the agreement, you would be responsible. But I've added an indemnity clause so that Jefferson will indemnify the township if any funds need to come from the township to the state.
Okay.
Identical to the documents that you approve for Gwinnett Mercy.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion, to authorize the township manager to, well, no, to approve the RACP cooperative agreement with Thomas Jefferson University and the Montgomery County Redevelopment Authority. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And carries. Next up is pollinator gardens. This is the consideration of a contract for the planting of pollinator gardens at Oxford and Penn Ambler Park by Archie Wild. So this would really be to authorize the township manager to execute a contract with Archie Wild to install those pollinator gardens at both of those parks. Lower Gwinnett received a 6,000 Green Region grant from the PICO to pay for pollinator gardens that are recommended in our master plan, our park master plan. Because the total project cost is below the threshold of 23.8 for public bidding, we are soliciting quotes from a minimum of 3 entities. Gilmore is working with Archie Wild, which submitted the lowest quote, but we're trying to finalize the scope. So this would be for the township manager, once all of those quotes are finalized, authorize the execution of that contract with Archie Wild. How we do?
Yeah, so I've been talking with Archwild. They were the lowest bidder of the 3 quotes that we got. All 3 quotes were above the budgeted amount of $12,000. You have a $6,000 grant. It requires a $6,000 match, so we're at 12,000 total. So I was talking to Public Works. They're going to be able to do some of the sod removal. That brought the cost down a little bit. And then we're going to end up scaling down just slightly the footprint of the Penn Ambler Park pollinator garden. So then we can get to 12,000 even. And I've got confirmation from Archwild that that would work out for them. So
Just as curiosity, where will Pet Ambler, where will the pollinator garden be? You know?
it
Sorry.
In the park.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Greg, do you know?
It's within the park, and I believe it is towards Penn Ambler Road. Like if you're if
Where the
you
fountain was?
no, down more
Sorry.
no, not the fountain.
It's in that open field, isn't it?
Was it marked on the plan, the strategic
Yeah, it's
plan?
marked on the-
It's like back, if you're
That
walking
wooded
the
part,
loop,
that wooded part?
it's on the other side of the field, right? When you're walking.
Yeah.
So nobody knows. Nobody knows. It'll be a surprise. Bring us pictures when it's done. All right. Are there any questions from the board?
Yeah, so what is the proposal from Archwild? What is it exactly they're going to plant?
I don't have the list of the plants, but the EAC reviewed the planting plan. They made some suggestions. We took them under advisement. We revised the plan and we put out to bid specific species that were reviewed by the EAC. It is all
Excellent.
native and Archwild. If you go on their website, they are very much into native species plantings.
Familiar with them.
Okay.
I was just curious as to what types of plants were going in there, but the
There's-
EAC
It's
reviewed it.
predominantly plugs
Mhm.
and there's some shrubs. There's nothing larger than shrubs and there's no seed going in. All the perennials are plug planted.
Very good.
Okay, I just have one more question. Has Sandy seen it? Like, has the parks, they've looked at it and?
Yes, Sandy has seen it. She was coordinating with the EAC for their review of it last fall. We had intended to plant it or to bid it and implement it last fall, but because of all the plugs, we don't want to plant plugs in the fall because the roots don't have a chance to establish. And then when it freezes, they pop up.
I just wanted to make sure she was good with the location and everything.
So the pollinator garden on the master plan is located behind the amphitheater. There was an existing depression that I believe someone thought was going to be an ice skating rink before climate change, but that's where it is.
Okay.
Thank you, Mimi.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was the spot I thought. I just-
Any additional questions from the board?
And the Oxford one is on that master plan as well.
Yes, the Oxford one is on the corner near the
Right in the middle.
it's like a pergola that was the Boy Scout did.
Ah, up there. Okay.
Mhm.
Not like by the playground.
So when are the plugs going in?
The contract is to have everything done by May 31st. So after we get if we get the board's authorization tonight, I'll work with Archwild to figure out what their schedule is. But when I spoke with them, they didn't think there would be any problem getting it done by May 31st, and I hope to have it done sooner.
Okay, and then who's going to be responsible for watering it the first year?
There is an 18 or a 12-month maintenance bond that will come along with this contract. So Archwild will be providing maintenance for the first year. And then after that, we'll have to talk with Sandy about who is going to be responsible for the weeding and that kind of maintenance and upkeep.
Very good. If we have a drought like last summer, it's going to need a lot of TLC to get it established. So that's good.
Okay.
Can you bring us pictures when it's done, if we approve it tonight?
Sure.
Any additional questions from the board? Any questions, comments from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to I would like to make a motion to approve the contract to authorize the township manager to execute the contract with Archwild to install pollinator gardens at Oxford Park and Penamber Park. The amount presented, which I believe is $12,000 even.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Carries. Included in our board packet is an invoice report for April 8th of 2025. Are there any questions from the board for our finance director? I don't have any questions. Just want to thank you, Melinda, as always. Thank you too, Mary. Any questions from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve the invoice report for April 8th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of the minutes from our March 25th, 2025 meeting. Are there any questions from Tessie or Jimmy? Or concerns, comments? No?
No.
Any questions, concerns, or comments from the public? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Jimmy or Tessie?
Oh, second, sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Supervisor and liaison reports are included in our board packet. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to your supervisor. Liaison staff updates. I think, Jamie, you were going to give us a quick update.
Yeah. So the QUIP is done. It's ready to go back to the regulators for well, I shouldn't say it's done. It's it's at the point where it's going to it's going back to the regulators. The revisions that were recommended have all been completed. And on Thursday, the management committee is going to endorse the plan, and then it'll go to DEP for their review. And they will basically, this is like a preliminary type approval. They'll come back and say, you know, this is approvable. Now you need to take it back to your municipal boards and get individual approval. And once that happens, then it'll go back to DEP for final approval. So it'll be before the board sometime this year, depending on how long it takes for DEP to review it. But they do have a meeting scheduled where they're just going to reacquaint the people at DEP with this plan, because as you know, we've been working on it for a long time. And so it's not all the same people at DEP. So they'll be meeting with them to kind of review it. And there's going to be a memo that comes out that explains the priorities, the projects that are priorities for about a 5-year timeframe. So we'll have an idea of which projects they're going to want to pursue over the next 5 years, once they are a little bit further along. But for the most part, the revisions are finished and now they're just going to let the regulators review it.
So in the event that they don't accept maybe the revisions, is there a possibility to be sent back? Or is the assumption that they're going to accept based upon the things that have been updated?
I guess there's always a possibility that they can send it back, but the idea is that
It's done.
it's done. Yeah.
And they don't have a time frame for review? A
No.
30 or 60-day review period?
No, there's no like time frame.
Is there a time frame for it to be enacted? Sorry to pepper you with questions, but is it like effective 6 months after their approval, or is it immediate?
I think it would be immediate. I mean, it's basically been the instead of implementing the TMDL, this has been the alternative course. So, and that's in place. We've just kind of gotten a break while we get this together. So I would think it would be immediate. I can find that out because they didn't actually confirm anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yet will the CWIP still meet in the interim?
Yeah, because now we're going to transition into the consortium and that will be the group that's there for the implementation of the plan.
So is that happening immediately, or are you waiting for approval?
That's happening, that's happening kind of simultaneously.
Okay.
And that will go into part of the agreement that's going to come out for the consortium is that the understanding is that this group will operate as a consortium as long as the QUIP is approved. And if it were to not go forward, then
It's dissolved.
yeah.
Any additional questions from the board?
Just one, if they send it back to us and it's ready to be approved by all the different municipalities, if a municipality doesn't approve it, are we back to the drawing board? What happens? that
I
won't
don't,
happen.
yeah, I don't think that will happen. But they are, that is, I don't know. I don't really know the
It's-
answer to that.
The understanding is the terms will be acceptable to all the municipalities that have been involved because we.
Yeah, because
had
they've
some
all
board-
provided the input for it. Yeah.
Here's discussing.
Well, I just am hoping that everybody else is on board, but okay.
Yeah.
Has this process been over 15 years? Because I feel like.
It started when I started, so it's been since 2016.
Okay, they were close. All right.
Thank you, Jamie. Yep.
Thank you, Jamie. Any additional staff updates?
This Saturday, we're partnering with Giant once again from 1 to 3 to fill a police car with food. So we've done this for several years now with Giant and it's very successful. We actually bring a trailer. We get so much food. All the food is then taken to the Matty Dixon food cupboard in Ambler. And it's a good time of the year for them. They really appreciate us doing it because the holidays are all over. It's a big day for everybody. So Saturday, 1 to 3. You don't have to wait till Saturday. You can do it anytime up until Saturday at 3, but Saturday 1 to 3.
And then where does the food go?
Matty Dixon
Oh, to
Food Cupboard
Matty, okay.
in Ambler.
Very good.
Yep. I'm going to announce it probably in a couple of weeks, but many of you may know Ginger. She's the store manager at Giant. She's retiring after 50 years
Wow.
working for Giant. She's been at this store several years now. And if you've noticed, if you've been around here for a while, we've been more involved with Giant recently in past several years than ever before. And it's all because of this woman. She really believes in community first. And she's assured us that she's going to leave direction for the new store manager. She's an incredible person. So we're really going to miss her. Sometime in May, not that far away. She'll be.
Find out when she's getting retired. If you could, let us know.
I will. Yeah, we have to do something. We've done a lot of things with her, but I'll bring another announcement for the next meeting.
Appreciate it.
She's really awesome.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks for that input because we really do need to recognize community citizens like that, that's great.
Any additional staff updates? Seeing none, supervisor updates, Tessie?
I'd just like to wish everybody happy spring, and that's all.
Me?
Yeah, the other thing, is to keep an eye out. The Parks Board is sort of revamping our summer concert series, so we should be seeing some announcements about with those dates and food trucks and bands. So hopefully the families can come out. There's gonna be 3 concerts this summer. So one in May, one in June, and one in July.
Thanks. I forgot something. So reminding everybody that the EAC is sponsoring a community discussion on plastics and getting rid of plastics in the environment in Lower Gwinnett, and that's tomorrow night.
That was it for me.
Jimmy?
I just think it's around Lower Gwinnett Little League opening day was last, oh, sorry, nothing for me.
Don't be bullied.
No, and I believe, Mr. Torski can better indulge us with more.
No.
And softball, mention softball too. They're doing softball now.
Yeah, I would have just echoed what Jimmy said. Lower Gwinnett Little League and softball season started, so head out to the field and watch our little players play.
I'm gonna echo what everyone said. I was just gonna remind everybody about the EAC meeting tomorrow. With that, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Yeah, I didn't think it was here.
Saturday was picture day. I know Saturday was picture day.
They didn't have their opening day like thing